happening at the University of Michigan. This was the graduate school, though, here. This group of medical students actually walked out when a anti-choice keynote speaker...
a sort of branded pro-life feminist that says, basically the things you would expect from a pro-life feminist.
So they walked out. But for some reason, I don't...
And it should be... And I do want to... Sorry, just cut you off.
No, it's okay.
I was told 90%, upwards of 90% of these students requested that this change was made, and the university forced this through. And so once again, this is a situation where it's not a woke university. It's the elites at a university trying to push a reactionary through, and people not putting up with it, especially at a time where these rights are being absolutely attacked. And part of these friendly faces, pro-life feminists, are actually the spear point and a huge problem that leads people to not understanding the severity of the problem we're in.
And interesting that University of Michigan seems to have no problem with these kinds of perspectives, both in their college athletic program and in this keynote speaker to these medical students.
The White Jackets getting up to leave.
Wow.
Good afternoon.
Peace.
I'm quite honored to have been chosen as this year's White Coat ceremony speaker.
That's great.
I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to everyone who's joining us for this special day. Especially...
But not them. They're not joining you.
Right. If you realize, too, the majority of that audience that was left that didn't get up were not wearing those white coats.
Right.
That means
it was the people she was specifically invited to speak to weren't fucking with her.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these reactionary labeling tricks where you call yourself something like an anti-woman feminist or something are meant to appeal to a very specific part of our intellectual class, like the, pundits who, when you're writing an article for New York Times, they're impressed by this, this varied heterodox perspective. But people who don't have to exist in that world oftentimes see through these very lazy tricks very easily. So, I think that good on them for walking out, because, just because you call yourself something doesn't mean we have to respect that particular we have to respect your ideological affiliation that you've identified at, just because after you say literally everything to the contrary.
Well, I mean, I also exactly it's so divorced from what people are on the ground are actually going to be experiencing. I mean, being a doctor at a white coat ceremony, going into the medical profession, they see what's happening all across the country with doctors that are being forced into these untenable situations where they're facing threats of prosecution and of lawsuits if they perform a procedure that might be saving the life of a mother. So if you're a medical student, having a speaker like that, it's fundamentally incompatible with your mission as a doctor.
And here is this person, this is the speaker herself, Kristen Collier. She's an assistant professor of medicine at the university. A tweet from May of this year: holding on to a view of feminism when one fights for the rights of all women and girls, especially those who are most vulnerable. I can't not lament the violence directed at my prenatal sisters in the act of abortion done in the name of autonomy.
Psycho.
I wonder what she thinks about trans people too.
Good argument. Good argument. I'm such a feminist that I'm also a feminist for the women who don't exist yet and have not been born. So I'm only going to focus on them. That's a good argument. Yeah. I'm also a feminist, and that's why I believe that women should be actually chattel if they happen to have any contact with men that is sexual and it results in pregnancy. So that's at the core of my feminism.
I brand myself as a fetal exclusionary radical feminist. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
a FERF.
I'm a FERF. I'm a FERF.
Listen, as a capitalist, I'm going to need you to recognize all the money I will have in the future, assumedly, and you need to accept that this mansion over here is mine legally, and that I'm going to buy this nice new car because, I value the money that I don't yet have, but will soon, I assume.
Yeah, and after the pro-life feminists, they had the pro-factory farming vegan on and the pro-coal environmentalist.
Frankly, I think, conceptual fetal feminism is the only kind of feminism that we should be talking about nowadays. And it's disgusting how the left is not willing to concede that like imaginary women deserve the same rights that we all do.
Pretty sure Barry Weiss is working on that Substack right now.
She's already published on this topic.
Oh, well.
Did you even listen to the speech? It was about how it's
No, I
about
walked out.
medicine in the machine age. Yeah, it's like, first of all, like,
She actually has written about this?
yes.
Oh, wow.
course.
I mean, come on.
I
My
mean, it's a
instincts.
job.
Yeah, well. I'm
It's
good
a
at my
living.
job.
Yeah. It's like asking if like Bill Simmons wrote about the latest Celtics game.
And sorry, I just
Matt's spicy today.
And so, sorry, I just wanted to also highlight the second tweet from that one we just read, which says, "Liberation that costs innocent lives is just oppression that is redistributed."
Oh.
So
This
she's
is
nice.
this is a dunderheaded right wing idiot.
yeah,
Like,
the redistributed oppression is for the unborn people. Got it.
Got
right,
it.
right.
fundamentally not serious when people start throwing out buzzwords to like things that they typically like scorn.
Yeah.
Like redistribution.
Yeah. They've learned to talk in such a way, and this is like a typical trick of like far right demagogues. They've learned to talk in such a way that they believe that when you try to contradict their stupid ideas, implicates, things like you were saying, like when I tell you that like we're not going to make laws based on a conceptual idea of like a woman that does not exist, they want to be able to go like, well, what about trans women? And then it's just like, it's not the same thing, and the fact that these conversations are designed to draw like these really lazy parallels between things that they think that we are incapable of like distinguishing, so that they can make even further reactionary arguments. But I mean, obviously that's why you just walk out, because it's just, they're not arguing or presenting anything in good faith.
Absolutely.
Affluence and Wretchedness writes in, "I'm adopted and there's nothing that enrages, I think you meant me more than anti-adoption freaks presenting adoption as an easy alternative to abortion. My birth mother was 19 and lived in the state where abortion was accessible. She had a family who offered to help her if she felt ready to be a mother. She actively chose to continue her pregnancy. She chose to go through childbirth and to hand me over to my parents with the knowledge that she wouldn't see me for at least 18 years. Her agency in all of that, in my existence, is choosing people she trusted to raise me, has always mattered to me. No one should be cornered into that, especially not by their weirdo fundy coach."
Yeah, and especially when like there are problems with the adoption. I mean, you hear what's her name, the Supreme Court Justice, the new Christian freak we have on our
Amy Coney Barrett.
Amy Coney Barrett talk about. Yeah, well, we'll have more stock. I don't know if she said the word stock, but she might as well have used stock in the adoption supply.
Yeah.
It's freakish and it's horrifying, and it has a horrible legacy in this country. Taking children from any sort of like class oppressed populations and giving them to wealthier people, like that's in the definition of genocide.
Yeah, what did the Pope? Obviously not in this country, so to speak, Matt. But what did the Pope literally just apologize for in Canada?
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Literally, essentially disappearing indigenous kids from their communities.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like this weird fantasy that I think a lot of Christian fundamentalists and right-wingers have. What is that? I mean, this is Mormons, but Mitt Romney's family member, they have a black adopted child, and he used that as a way to ward off claims of racism. When
Who let the dogs out?
it is like,
I remember when Melissa Harris Perry had to leave MSNBC because she made that point about like when she tweeted out that joke like one of these things is not like the other when he posted his like family photo, and I was like, it's a good joke, but you know where you work.
Oh, now I can't get that Peacock money anymore. Because I made the same one.
Demonetized.
Dang.